with the north facing that way, and of course south facing behind us. Look at the very bottom of your map to your right. There's the Rutherford Creek, and look how it breaks off going to your left and to your right. This is where Hood, Cheatham's Corps at the front, Stewart's Corps behind, comes up to this creek at approximately 3:30 p.m. Earlier, and I'm not here to slam Hood, I'm here to quote Hood and etc., etc. An A coming up to here. Cheatham's Corps, Claiborne's division at the vanguard. They arrive at this creek. General Cheatham's orders from Hood was to march down the Rally, where that truck is going, march down the Rally Hill Road, connect with Forrest, ascertain the position of the enemy, and attack the Federals at Spring Hill. Let's repeat that. March down the Rally Hill Road, connect with Forrest, ascertain the position of the enemy, and attack the Federals at Spring Hill. Nothing about blocking the road. There was no orders to block the road. I think it's commander's intent, that's a modern deal, but you concurrent that you attack the Federals and block the road, but Hood's orders were not to block the road. It was to attack the Federals. I think he thought they would take them straight on into Spring Hill, but nonetheless, remember Forrest was here at 12 o'clock, came within 400 yards of capturing the wagons and such. So, Claiborne's division crosses this Rutherford Creek and marches down the road to connect with Forrest. Where's Brown's division of Cheatham's Corps? Hood would write in his book that only a few flankers were sent out on that march coming down the Davis Ford Road. It was not a road, it was a cow's path. They had to march off the side of the road into the mud and the whatever, and half of Brown's division was sent out as flankers, not a few flankers. General Hood, I'm not here to slam General Hood, but General Hood would write in his book that coming up on this Davis Ford Road, miles and miles and miles down the road, that he could see all the wagons on the road, Federals coming into Spring Hill. Well, where are the wagons when Forrest almost captured them at midday? Already in Spring Hill. There, do you see, is there anywhere here, do you see where you can see the Columbia Pike in the distance or on your road, on your map I mean, well it's a little past the map there, but there's nowhere you can see the Columbia Pike. We'll see it on that hill we're going to walk up, but you cannot, Stanley Horn notes that, among others, it's physically impossible to see the Columbia Pike. That's the one we were riding on when we got into Spring Hill a little ways. You can't see it. And the wagons were already here at 12 o'clock. I don't know what Hood is noting. But Brown's division was coming in the rear. Bates' division is coming up next. Later on, maybe tomorrow, we'll talk who these people are and whatever, what brigades and such. But Bates' division comes up next. Cheatham leaves here and moves down the pike. Hood is staying here at the crossing. Here, I think General Hood made a crucial mistake, not as big as the one we're going to touch on, a tactical mistake. He broke the chain of command. He ordered, apparently he had second thoughts about the Federals still coming up from Columbia, Schofield, and he orders Bate to move cross country, presumably across the creek, and then move toward the Columbia Pike and block the road. He did not inform Cheatham of this. It's okay to break the chain of command, or Brown's my division commander, and you're the corps commander. It's okay to tell give Brown's orders, but I need to tell you. Right. And he didn't tell Cheatham. And this will be problems later on, because Cheatham wondered, where the hell is Bate? Where's Bate? They came within, they were within hundreds of yards of Hood and Cheatham, but he broke the chain of command without informing the corps commander. And you're Cheatham, you're a Bate. I ordered Bate to move across country. I didn't tell you. And you're wondering, where the hell is Bate? I think that's a big, big mistake coming up here. But I think the most crucial mistake, A.P. Stewart felt this, as well as others, is that who's coming up next? A.P. Stewart. after Brown finally comes up. We're getting a little bit later on. But A.P. Stewart, that's W.W. Loring, old blizzards. They said he could cuss a cannon up a hill. I won't go through the brigades right now. Loring, Walthall, and French's divisions, 8,000 strong. Hood is worried about his rear. He's worried that the Federals have designed this movement. He even saw Federal cavalry on this march up here and thought they're going to get behind them. And so with Stewart's corps coming up, he leaves them right here to our right by this creek and check, just leaving them here while what we're going to go through is going on. And I feel that's the worst mistake, because when this second phase of the battle we hadn't touched on first or second, Stewart's corps is not on Cheatham's right. He's still here, right here. Probably the biggest mistake he made, worrying about the Federals coming up from behind him. And I don't know, I would have sent scouts out there to make sure they warned us. But apparently worried about his rear, and he left Stewart's corps right by this area up until about 7 o'clock that night. And after things are going on, the Federals start arriving down this Columbia Pike, the vanguard about 4:30, and we're going to go by Rippavilla Mansion, where the infamous breakfast occurred. But on November 29th, Bates' division, skirmishers within about 100 yards of that pike, 70, 80 yards, firing on the leading elements coming up from Columbia. We'll touch on that scenario with Cheatham and Bate. Where the hell is Bate? Later. But I think it's crucial to note this. This area, it's an A up to here. A as Claiborne's moving down the pike, and then things start to unravel. I'll go on and say now 3 components here. Number 1, lack of communicating. Number 2, exhaustion. And number 3, overconfident. Boy, that's a recipe for disaster, isn't it? I'd rather overestimate an opponent than underestimate an opponent, because you're not going to get people killed. And know the ground, perform reconnaissance as well. But crucial mistake here, 1 Bate, but bigger, leaving Stewart here by this creek, the Rutherford Creek. And as you see on your map, once again, it doesn't really show Stewart's corps down here, but I want to show you just over here, and right here, and over here, this is where Stewart's was left in line of battle, and left here until about 7:30 that night. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes of this scenario on November 29th, is leaving Stewart here. But it's crucial about Bate too. That's a big mistake, and we're going to develop why that was so important and why that screwed up as well. It's more of a tactical situation and movement situation, and where I feel Hood made mistakes here so far. Where's S.D. Lee's corps, Confederate? They're still at Columbia. Now on this march, Johnson's division of S.D. Lee's corps was coming up in the rear of Cheatham and Stewart's. They're the last ones coming up, and no artillery as well coming up. Because the road, that's not a road, that Davis Ford Road. It's road in name. It's been traveled on forever and ever. Even today, if we rode all the way down that thing, and it's a even with gravel or whatever, it's not much. And so that's road in name only. And remember, with that flankward march, and bad maps too, we're talking about, it's supposed to be 12 miles, ended up being about 17 miles they march from Columbia. They're up at 2 a.m., they're left at 4 a.m. That's about a 17-mile march. These troops have been in the war the whole war. You know, they're exhausted, long-term exhaustion. And as I feel Hood was overconfident, I'm getting ahead of myself, and lack of communicating, most important. Lack of communicating with his subordinates. The first crucial mistake, I feel. Any questions so far of any kind?
Where are we on this map?
If you take your map, once again, take your map where north is that way, obviously south is behind us. Look at the Rutherford Creek at the bottom and see how that branches going to your left and going to your right.
That's the road.
This right here. This is where we are, right here, where it branches out the Rutherford Creek. It goes Powell and then Powell that way. Yeah.
And Schofield's men are still back pretty much.
The infantry is still just starting to come, coming up.
So Hood's plan of doing a right hook is still kind of working.
Oh yeah, it's an 8 right now.
And wouldn't his subordinates know that, hey, we're going to do a right hook and come around behind these guys? Do you think he got communicated?
He's not. We're going to get into the house unraveling here pretty soon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thought one thing and Cheatham another. That was the whole.
Hood did not inform Cheatham of ordering Bates Division to go across country, and Hood did not order Cheatham to block the road. It was to attack the Federals at Spring Hill. It wasn't to block the road. Apparently, that's an afterthought.
You mean I thought it would sweep down the Columbia Pike?
Hood didn't order that until he ordered Bate to move across country to fire on anything coming up from Columbia. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. That's true. Yeah, that is that way. Yeah, of course.
So how's that relate to the map? Because it's got north pointing out.
There's a little bit. I guess it would have to be more about like that. Is what we're looking at. Okay. Yeah, about like that. That helps. Yeah, that helps. But that Rutherford Creek at the very bottom to your right, the Raleigh Hill, blah blah blah, and the Rutherford Creek. But this is where we are, right in this area, right here to your right bottom area. And that's where they're laying in check. See the Rutherford Creek is right behind you as well.
Now where's the two forks of it? I can't see it with this hill.
Well, there's one fork here, and then back there is another fork as well. And this thing veers that way. Yep. Maybe that's what. But the original tactical era here for Hood was Bate and Stewart.
What is Hood's plan to defeat the Union Army? Does he think he's going to capture it, destroy it, or just push it back? What is he
Federal
going to do?
cavalry's gone. There's 7,000 at Spring Hill with 800 wagons. Schofield is fooled, and he finally realized about 11:30 that they're in big trouble, about 11ish. And now they're starting coming up here toward Spring Hill. And so wipe out this command, then you're going to have the Federal cavalry gone, and you can turn on that infantry coming up. Or defeat this Wagner's as well as defeat Schofield coming up here as well. So they have them in detail, have them all in detail.
So why doesn't Hood just order an all-out attack with all 3 corps?
Apparently, well, S.D. Lee's not here.
And
yeah, and there was Stewart. He left him here because he's worried about his rear. He thought the Federal had designed this movement and they're going to come up on his rear. And he did see Federal cavalry on this march up here, but that's the reason he left Stewart's corps here, because he thought they were going to come in from behind him, leaving them in reserve, be able to turn on them, and or when they should have moved on up with Cheatham's and formed on their right.
And just have scouts is what you're saying?
Right. I would send scouts that way to inform them as well. Yeah.
They would want all those 800 wagons too and all the supplies.
Big time. And they're about 30, somewhere in the range of 20 guns there. But wipe these out and then turn on Schofield coming up. Schofield's in a hell of a mess. He is in a hell of a mess. And where's his eyes and ears? They're at Franklin for the 10th time.
Now, do you think with Bate, with that sweep down the Columbia Pike, that he wanted him to really attack Schofield or just interdict Ruger coming up and block
that road, fire on anything coming up, etc., etc. But that's one division, about 2,200 strong. Cheatham has his commander. And what's it like? Once again, I'm going to order Brian, your Bate, to do that. I need to tell you. And Hood did not tell Cheatham. And this is going to develop as we go up that hill where everything starts to screw up really bad. You don't break the chain of command. You can gill, you're my manager of this company. I can tell Brian, the employee, to do something. I better tell you. I better inform you about it. And Hood broke the chain of command, and then leaving Stewart here, too crucial. Beginning of things that start to unravel. Hell in the handbasket.
Yeah, because if he was going to do that with Bate, why have Stewart do it? He's kind of redundant.
Right, but again, he's just worried he's leaving Stewart here. He's 8,000 strong here. Yeah.
No, do you think there was an issue of compatibility that he felt more comfortable in ordering Bate? And he just didn't
No. He ordered it, and apparently maybe he forgot. They're only a couple hundred yards from each other from time to time. He just never informed Cheatham. As we get up on that hill, that's going to see where the hell is Bate? Where is Bate? Why ain't Bate on Claiborne's left? I'm getting ahead of myself. Bate's nowhere. and find, you know, that's where it's really going to start screwing up on that too as well. Lack of communicating. Most important thing in life, being war, sports, marriage, big time marriage, fucking more than anything. You better communicate.